Hey guys, my name is RyanCentral and welcome to HitScan. In this video we're going to go over patch 2.08, which is the first patch of Act 3. It includes the new map Breeze, which we'll talk about, give our thoughts and stuff towards the end, and other quality of life stuff that I think you guys are really going to like. Some bug fixes that actually inadvertently buff Viper again, which is, great. And yeah, just some other stuff. Maybe we'll include some dev comments with what they say about the fact that there's no new agent, but at the time of recording this, there isn't anything right now. So hopefully it comes with this new patch, but we'll have to see when it officially announces and go from there. However, before we get started, it's a big week for esports. We've got the EMEA and North America Challengers Finals, deciding the teams that will go to Masters 2 and Iceland at the end of May. I'm going to be casting, or at least on the desk, for EMEA on Saturday, qualifying day, and I'll do my best at least to do watch parties over on twitch.tv/RyanCentral for North America. If you're interested in coming in, be sure to follow and keep an eye on the stuff there. Just wanted to shout that out before we get started. But yeah, when it comes to this patch, we have the new map Breeze, and the big question is, how can we play it? Is it going to be competitive? So we'll go over all of that now. It will come in with this patch, and for the first 2 weeks, it will be in its own Breeze only unrated queue for those that want to grind out and play out the new map. The new map will also be available in Deathmatch, Spike Rush, and Escalation, and if you want to play it in custom games, you have 10 friends that you want to play with, then you can do that as well. The main thing is that you won't be able to play Breeze not only in competitive, because you have to wait 2 weeks, but also it won't be available in the normal unrated queue, so bear that in mind. If you want to play the new map, you're not going to find it in just normal unrated. So they will be disabled in that mode, and then 2 weeks will pass. This Breeze only queue will be disabled, and then Breeze will come into the competitive rotation and also into unrated. So the first 2 weeks, basically until the next patch, you have to play the Breeze only mode if you want to try it out normally, which I think is a great thing to add. The devs also wanted to say in the patch notes that, reminder, this is your last chance to get a rank reward at the end of Act 3. So, we have one more act left before we move into Episode 3, which should bring a lot of interesting stuff too. This is the part of the video that I would include why the devs have said there's no new agent, so if I'm sat here saying this, then don't worry about it, we'll talk about it some other time. Other changes that have come in include coach slots, which I'll go over shortly because it doesn't really affect the majority of us. It allows players to sit in a specific spectating spot for each of the teams, seeing everything that their team's doing, being able to watch what their players are doing, see them on the minimap, but not see the enemy team at all to steal strategies or anti-strat them when an official game comes around. A big thing, and I think it's going to improve a lot of the esports scene when it comes to how these changes can dramatically give a lot of power to coaches to better see what's going on and give a lot of help to the team. Coaches cannot use map pings, team chat, or voice chat in-game. They can use all chat and party chat if they want to talk to tournament moderators, the other team, to do map bans and picks and all that jazz. And coaches can pause the game in cases where functionality is allowed to players, so they can tap pause themselves if they want. All really good stuff. It's going to have a huge impact, but obviously for us normal people that just play unrated or ranked or just Spike Rush all the time, if you're absolutely insane, then yeah, that's good. There's some changes to audio and HRTF, specifically that weapon drop sounds are added to this new feature, meaning that you can hear it a little bit more when a weapon is dropped around you a bit more specifically, which is something that clearly people were asking for. But the main thing, this might seem small on the face of it, but I think this is really big for the game, is report a feedback, meaning that every time that you make a report against a disruptive player and they get actioned on, you will get a notification. The notification will say, "Thanks for helping make Valorant a better place for everybody, and keep those reports coming," smiley face. This was big when Overwatch came out. It just makes you feel that you reporting problematic players actually means something and that your report isn't getting ignored. I've been somebody that's advocated for that pretty much since day one, so I'm glad to see it really in the game along with coach slots. This is just a very quality of life heavy patch, and as you'll notice, there's not many balance changes. One of the reasons why the devs have said that, and I've said it previously, is we have Masters 2. The first ever big international tournament in Valorant. It's going to be pretty amazing, and effectively the devs said we don't want to push out any over egregious balance changes before this event, right? So they don't want to buff Yoru even more to a point where Yoru is going to be meta into a very volatile state. First LAN, first international event. It basically allows the teams to go into Iceland on a level playing field, using and practicing stuff that they've been using and practicing for months now, with the exception of Astra, of course, but that's still 2 months of time that teams have had to prepare with this new agent. This doesn't include the new map though, Breeze. I wanted to get your opinion on this, guys, but Breeze is going to be officially part of the competitive map pool in Iceland in Masters 2. So there's going to be 6 maps that pro teams will play on. Personally, I'm not a fan. Just for everything that I've mentioned, I'd really like to see the teams go into Iceland on that level playing field. The 5 maps that we've had for almost 6 months now, with Icebox being the latest, teams have had plenty of times to really refine and work on their map pool. I just think that if Breeze gets pushed to the competitive scene, it'll probably be a permaban, so we won't see it. I'd love to see it in a show match, you know, having players from all around the world do pickup games and play on the new map. That would be a hell of a lot of fun, and I think from a marketing standpoint too, that would be really cool to show off. But it's not something I'm super passionate about, really. I understand Riot's idea on it, but I wanted to ask you guys what you think of the fact that Breeze will be a competitive map 1 month after its launch into the biggest tournament that we've had so far. With it being a LAN and with it being, you know, playing against teams I've never played up against before, I'd prefer a less volatile state just to see who is the best team and not as who is the team that quickly gets their head around Breeze and can maybe start using it against the other teams. But saying that, Breeze is a really cool map. I want to talk about my opinions after this, but finishing on this is some actual bugs and bug fixes that have buffed some agents further, like I mentioned Viper. A cool one for Killjoy is that the turret and alarm bot icons on the minimap used to disappear when they were disabled. Now that's no longer the case. On a minimap you should still see where that Killjoy utility is. I just hope there's a bit of a notification or a color change to show you that the utility is disabled. Otherwise that's just going to be really confusing for a lot of people. There was a bit of tech before with Astra and Brimstone where you could stand just at the edge of the smoke, so you're kind of technically in the smoke, but you could still see everything in front of you. And what that did is it sort of made this like phasey effect, which when you were flashed, didn't actually flash you. It didn't have any impact at all, so you could kind of use that tech to exploit against flashes, stopping agents from flashing you and being able to still hold the angle. That's been fixed, thankfully. It's something that Astra and Brimstone could both do. And I'm glad that it's been fixed, because that could have been really annoying and exploitative going forwards. Now we get onto the Viper stuff. The toxic screen went longer than intended, is what the dev said, when put through the bind teleporter. I guess it's when you have it long, goes through the teleporter, it's twice as long as maybe it should be. So now the toxic screen should actually stop midway in with a teleporter lineup. So sorry, Viper mains, fanatics, stuff like that on bind. It's going to be a bit more rougher going forwards, but who knows by much, really. The other thing is that there was a buff to Viper before, where her pickup distance should have been 400 what, I don't know, but basically she should be able to pick up her poison cloud smoke from further away. That was a change that was in the recent patch, but it wasn't actually in the game. So a bug fix is making sure that it has been upgraded, meaning that technically speaking, Viper has been buffed again. It should have been buffed before, but this is another thing going her way, and so far I've seen a lot of pro teams playing Viper. Yeah, it's going to be interesting going into Masters 2 with this agent alone. So yeah, I'm excited, but I'm also a bit scared that it's going to get very stale very quickly. But again, let me know what you guys think below. And then, yeah, other than that, there's just not really that much. Balance changes, like I said, few and far between. Maybe we get a couple in the next patch, but generally speaking, it seems that a lot of this stuff is meant to make sure that we go into Iceland, into Masters 2, without too much going on. Now I wanted to use this chance to talk about the new map Breeze, after playing it a little bit more than I did in the video where I kind of had to just quickly fly around and give my first impressions, which, yeah, sorry about that, but making 3 videos in 3 hours is kind of difficult when it comes to learning stuff quickly. But after playing it and watching pro teams play it a lot yesterday, it's great. It's genuinely a really fun and entertaining map. It doesn't feel, from watching the pro teams and stuff, that there's a bias towards attackers or defending in the same way that we've had for Split in the past, or with Icebox when that first came out. It could very much be a time thing where we all realize, oh no, wait, it's very defender-sided, very hard to attack against, which when you look at the map, how open it is and how some chokes are really tight, certainly towards A and B main, that could be a bit of a problem going forward. But from hearing from other pros, speaking to other pros, everybody seems to really like it. It's a very fun map. A lot of the fights just end up barreling out onto the mid because it's so massive. And like I said before, it's a beautiful map. I think that you guys are really going to enjoy it when you'll get your hands on it. But how it plays competitively, if it's, you know, a bit cheesy in some fashions, we'll have to wait and see. But from the looks of it right now, the feedback so far that I've seen for it has been mostly positive, almost like 90% positive. I haven't seen anybody say anything bad about it other than they don't like it and didn't specify why. So yeah, great feedback. So it's a genuinely good map. I'm excited to see it in the competitive scene, but I also want Masters 2 to kind of be its own separate vacuum event, personally speaking. But yeah, I understand why Riot made that decision to put it in the map pool. It would be cool to do a show match like I mentioned, but yeah, sort of going from there. Like I mentioned before, we got a lot of stuff going on with esports this week, some really cool games happening. Maybe we'll do some coverage on the other YouTube channel talking about other parts of the world, Brazil, Korea, Latin America, what all that kind of means. But as a quick, let's call it a 1, 2, 3 section because that worked so well nicely. This is just more of an update on the channel and stuff, and I want your feedback as viewers. So if you want to give me your opinion on this, put 1, 2, 3 in your comments so I know that you've watched this and, you know, you're reeling and you've watched to the end. There's going to be an Apex Legends video on this channel, highlighting a new game mode, Arenas, which is a 3v3 game mode. Can't show any gameplay at this point, but I just want to give you the heads up that that's coming this week. I actually have 2 images on screen about what the color scheme of those videos could be, because we have a different color scheme for each of the games that we cover. Overwatch is yellow, Valorant is obviously the red Valorant color. What do you think the Apex one should be? But also, yeah, do you want to see more content on the Arenas game mode? It's not quite Valorant, it's not quite Overwatch, it's more like Trials of Osiris in Destiny, more than anything. But I do think that it's, because it's a class-based game and it's an arena and there's some really cool abilities, very high tempo, a lot more fun than the Battle Royale, I would say, personally speaking. Then I would love to make more content, but I'm curious on what you guys want to see, whether it's which legend should you pick up, a tier list of the agents. I keep wanting to say agents, but it's legends. The legends that you should be picking up in this game mode, general tips and advice. I'd love to know what you guys think on that front, because yeah, it's going to be cool. I want to sort of give it a chance. Obviously, this channel is still going to be mostly Valorant focused because I am like a Valorant caster and stuff, but yeah, I'd say that I'd like to give it a shot, make a lot of content when it comes out, and maybe never touch it again. I'm not too sure. But I did want to ask what your guys' thoughts were on that, whether you'd watch it, whether you wouldn't. Be honest with me, be frank with me, please. And yeah, that's kind of everything in this patch. I'm a little bit disappointed how light it is in agent changes, I'll be honest, but I understand why, and I think when you bring in a new map like Breeze, there's going to be a lot of breaking the map, right? Omen teleporting to places that he shouldn't do, and so the devs need to be all hands on deck to make sure that the map comes in spick and span without rocking about too much in other changes, adding in new agents and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you very much for watching till the end. Keep a lookout for that Apex Legends video, and we'll be back when other news happens. So thanks for watching, take care, we'll see you then, hopefully see you on the watch parties, take care.